You can the difference between the one you made and what he made is it has these little pins in the elbow. It's an overlap boomerang. Oh boy, this now we talk about some great boomerangs. This is a Bob Burwell 7 from 2003, 7 hook, and then this is another Bob Burwell, his Snake Series. I can't recall what he would call them now. Another great flying boomerang. These are highly collectible boomerangs. Any time you can find a Burwell boomerang, you've got a treasure. I would rank Burwell, Gerhard, Herb Smith, Rod Jones as some of the top collectibles of older boomerangs. Okay, Jeff Lurie hook. And Jeff was the first boomerang I ever saw listed in the Guinness Book of Records, see through something like 90 yards. It was measured, and that was the measurement for many, many years. Of course, Herb Smith went out and did more than that. Here is another Rusty Harding, the 70V, and it's made out of satin wood. Nice flying boomerang. Doesn't look like you've thrown it very much, Bob.
I don't think I ever threw those.
Yeah, but it has that little notch on the end, and when you throw it, it would trip. Actually, the notches were not designed for that purpose. When we get to the Herb Smith boomerangs, I'll try to remember to explain that. This is by a young man out in California. I can't think of his name. Can you zoom in on that at all, Paul?
Yeah.
All right. Notice how many laminations there are and how well spaced they are and the varieties of wood. Excellent flying boomerang. I couldn't depend on him as a supplier, unfortunately.
You don't remember who made that?
I can't think of his name now. I really can't. This is a French LMI carbon technique, very popular today. One of my customers took his technique into his U-2 spy plane up to about 75, 80,000 feet. I have a picture of him in his spacesuit at altitude. Never thought I'd see a boomerang in space. Now this is, I don't remember this gentleman's name. This is a laminated veneers with lead weight, inlay right here. His father designed, he was a Lodes air, what's the word I want to use? His father designed wind tunnels, and he was an expert in low speed aerodynamics. I think this boomerang, when you bought it, was about $85.
Yeah.
And there weren't very many of those. But it was a very clean boomerang. It was so clean, it was really tricky to throw. If you put too much power on it. Oh boy, let's see, here we go. Now this is a Bob Burwell from 1984 when Bob came over with the Australian team. It's one of his 7 hooks. And I bought back several match sets of these. I have a complete set of mine. It was this, then another one that was these two, but they were all matched. They were all painted red or another color to match. Wonderful flying boomerang, needless to say. I'll keep saying this over and over again, Paul. If you have a Bob Burwell, you've got some wonderful flying. Okay. This Tim McAlfee. Is that right, Tim? Nick McAlfee, that's right. He and Hughes were good friends, and they were up in Amesbury, Massachusetts, a little trapezoid. Here is a Rusty Harding Concept 90 out of Babinga. Oh, an African wood that is like iron. And I have one of those, and it's a real knuckle knocker. This is a John Kreideman from Canada. You got this one of your last visits, Paul.
I think so.
With the inlay, that's very rare from John. Every once in a while, John gets the bug to want to do something fancy. And that was one of his bug moments. This is a Larnhause Silky Spinner made from silky oak. Silky oak is a unique wood. The grain runs both vertical and horizontal. It's a lap joint, which means it comes over this side here and this side here. The story goes he had an oak tree that died in his paddock or his yard, and he made lumber out of it, and he carved boomerangs out of the wood and sold many of them. In those days, back in the 70s, they were like $12 on auction. you're looking at 85 or more dollars easily. This is an mint condition. This is true keeper and very light. When you throw it, it comes back and it would hover. No pain at all. A little fillet right here. If you ever find Lauren's book, he showed you how he does this. But silky oak in this country is called lacewood. And you have, I forget that you have a pair of these. A pair of these. How can you do that? Beautiful match. And look at the artwork. Very nice. You have thrown these, haven't you, Paul?
If I have, only a few times.
And actually, these are two different sizes. I didn't realize that. Look at that. Yeah, sometimes, you know, a boomerang is meant to be thrown. And you can buy a boomerang, you hang it on the wall and never throw it, but you can't tell stories about it. If you've thrown the boomerang, it's got a few dings in it, a little dirt on it, then you can spend hours and hours telling friends what a great thrower you are. Whoever. Now, this is by Neil Camilson in Georgia. Neil was an instructor at college there. Symmetrical wing, that means you can throw it to this end, or you can turn around and throw this end. And they called it his yard rang. Did some artwork on it. Interesting boomerang, very light. Just a little pinch grip. Flick it out there, grab it, no problem. Then we